a show often imitated but never duplicated.
Woo!
I am your host, Austin, Frame100 Studios, along with a room full of directors, Chris from Goldbrick Productions.
What's up, guys?
And Jared, the Dude Brick.
We're back. Woo! On a Sunday.
Yeah, on a Sunday. And Matt from Bricktail Studios. Hi.
Afternoon, guys.
So, yeah, back on the podcast. It's been a while. It's been a couple of months. Don't really want to take anything away from the show for about that. So, just want to say I am glad to be back. Special thank you to Chris, Jared, and Trev for continuing to keep the show running in my absence. They have done a phenomenal job with the just with the layout and keeping you guys entertained and keeping you guys engaged. A huge shout out to them. So thank you guys for doing what you do.
I'm touched.
I'm not gonna derail the show. I promise. There will be no controversy coming out of my mouth today.
Crap,
they have
on the
stuff
schedule.
Planned. Yeah, I know, right? They have stuff planned for today. I'm just going to contribute, so I'll let you guys take it away.
Cool. Well, also we got Trev in the chat who is moderating. He is animating. We'd love to say what he's animating, but we dropped off too many cryptic hints already, so no more. That's about it. But yeah, today we are talking about sound. And if you're wondering what sound is, then I wonder how you're listening to this podcast.
What is sound?
Unless you're deaf.
What are vocal cords?
Deaf.
Oof. Suddenly that joke did not land as well as I wanted it to. We're going to get sued, guys. I'll get my legal team to work on this. We're going to just, sweep this under the rug. I'd appreciate if you guys on the listening to the podcast wouldn't mention that this happened and sub to Pong Owl. Thanks.
Pong Owl. Miss that guy.
The campaign has been going crazy. Like the other day, Laner and Rio and who else? I want to say it was Sark over on TPF. We were just talking and Lainey's all, Chris, just write sub to Pong Owl on your forehead. I'm like, sure. So I went to the bathroom, wrote it on my forehead, wrote it so you could see it the right way in the mirror, but it was inverted on my head. Took a picture, sent it on Twitter, and Lainey's like, oh, you actually did it. I'm like, yeah. I can't let Orion keep one-upping me.
He did shave his head. That's very true.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's Orion.
Mad lad.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all. But when we meet up for Christmas or New Year's or something, I'm just going to be taken aback. I'm like, what in the... Now you've gone too far. First Sherlock Season 3 and now this. Point being, we're degenerating sound. Sound in brick films. Sound is a big deal. Because without it, a brick film is about half as interesting as it could be. Or 100% interesting. Who knows?
That's very true.
Like maybe, unless it's specifically a silent film.
Well, one example that does come to mind is Lainey's deaf. Like, she deliberately does not use sound at all in that video. And I think it's great.
If you can tell a story without using sound, then you got some skills, yo.
Next level storytelling. 500 IQ.
You got some skills.
Yeah, she did get Brick Film of the Week with that one, so it can be done. But don't walk into the film going, I'm not going to include sound because I'm a lazy butt. It's not going to work for you.
We'll get my back entry in first place. No sound. Perfect.
Even better, at the beginning of the video, you have a title that says, turn up your volume, and then you put no sound.
Wait, I kind of want to do a film that's like about a blind guy, but you can't see anything. It's just a black screen the whole time.
There actually is a movie like that. But what it is it's not a black screen. It's kind of a muted yellowish, because a lot of blind people describe their inability to see as like a weird yellow kind of...
How would they know what color yellow is if they can't see?
Oh, that's so true.
I don't know how to describe it. I know one way off the top of my head is if they're...
Wait,
if the person...
maybe they weren't blind prior.
Yeah, that's probably it.
That might be
that
it.
probably...
Another could be like if they're having problems seeing or whatever, you could probably put in like a little sensor or something into their eye that'd be able to detect what light does come in. But
that's cool,
that's disgusting, and I'm not sure if it's actually real.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We should change this episode topic to sight and sound while we're at it.
Sight and sound. We got some DIY LASIK coming at you.
Yeah, I don't trust that at all.
Right?
Walk into a back alley. Hey kids, you want some LASIK? No, thank you. I am out of here. Peace. I'm just a brick filmer. I got much to live for.
So funny.
I don't need sight to animate. I just need touch. That's all I need.
Set bumps
Sup,
galore.
Locker
Light
74
flicker.
Productions.
Light flicker galore.
Actually, you never see the light flicker. This is terrible.
You'd be like, oh,
Okay,
that's fine.
now-
Now
off
we're
the
just
air.
making fun of blind people, okay? Let's
Stop the intent. I love Daredevil season 3.
let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. So I heard this
Heard.
not recently. Oh my god. Heard this recently. Or not too recently. It was when I was like trying to learn how to like step up the quality of my films, and someone said that like people's ears are more easily offended than their eyes. Which I don't know how true it is in like everyday life, but I guess when you're talking specifically about films, it might be more the case, because I mean I've seen some high quality films in terms of like visuals, so like maybe like 1080p or like 4K, something super nice and crisp. Maybe the frame rate wasn't great, but the audio was like or like really low, really quiet, and like there were no footstep sounds or anything that you would associate with like everyday life. So
Yeah, I agree.
it very much like to me that actually makes sense, because like I won't watch something if I'm not like fully in it. But then again, I don't think people realize how important audio is, just to not only make something more interesting, but it helps the person or the people watching kind of to immerse them in whatever scene you're trying to
Yeah, it's all
create.
part of immersion.
Yeah. I think more people are prone to not see or to watch like footage and hear great audio rather than vice versa. Like if you're watching like you said, Austin, you're watching like a 4K crisp Lego brick film, you're like, man, that looks great. But then you hear the crackling and the all over it, then you don't even want to listen to it for like the next 5 minutes. You just want to click off it. So I think it's better to have decent footage, okay footage, whatever, and have really great audio.
It's funny because that's why adding sound is one of my favorite parts of putting together an animation, because
mine too.
It can compensate for a not so great shot if you've got a good visual effect in there that's done in post, and then a good sound effect to back it up. Yeah, especially with like some of the Star Wars stuff, because if you're familiar with like certain vehicles and weapons make certain sounds, and if you hear that sound and you see that effect, then your mind almost completes whatever's missing from that picture.
Yeah, I agree. I think like some non-specific examples of this kind of comparisons, like the old brick films from like the early to mid 2000s that still hold up really well today. Like they may not be crisp in 4K and 1080p, but they got some really great audio tracks with them and great sound effects and great sound design that they still hold up very, very well today.
Man, I'm trying to find man, we talked about this, and I took 2 classes this semester, which were speech signal processing and acoustics audio engineering. And there was a scientific thing I remembered about the way that people perceive audio much faster than they do sight. So I think that's one reason why sound is so sensitive. I'm probably gonna get the numbers really wrong here, but I've read that it takes to get a signal from your eyes to your brain through the cones and rods. Takes about 75 milliseconds or microseconds. I forget exactly which order, but through your ear, it goes through your eardrum, the bones, cochlea, all the way to your brain. It takes about 15, which is far less than it takes to get to your eyes. So you're more likely to detect a sound first before you actually see what's going on, before you're on to the next frame. And it is very simple within 60 millimicroseconds to completely lose track of the video because the sound is just I hate it. So if you don't use sound right, if you do use sound right, it creates that effect you guys are talking about where it's just immersion. If you get the sound wrong, it just doesn't sound right, you pull the audience out. They've reacted negatively before they've actually seen what's going on.
Yeah, that's important. I kind of so I only got into sound design when I made I think like Lego Minecraft First Night. That was really the first time I did a lot of like deep diving into doing sound, and then I would say probably all of my entries for like contests like Thack and Brawl. I'm still proud of the Portal Experiment sound effects.
I like them. They were great.
Matt especially loves the actual voice acting that was done.
I
in that film.
I love the voice.
No, that is so cringy. It is awful.
it was literally like he texted me one day. He's like, Austin, like I am in love with this voice acting that you've got going on. I was like, oh, thanks, dude. But anyway, in all seriousness though,
speech signal processing is another
crap. He's so full of crap.
I would say, speaking of Matt, 0 Hour is one of my favorites in terms of quality of sound design.
Yeah, when does it come out?
Oh,
yeah, dude.
We're back, and we're back.
We are back. We are back. Well, we're making really irrelevant 0 Hour jokes a year after its release. Well, not a year, but like.
Oh, darkness, my
wait,
old friend.
has it been a year?
Yeah, we're coming up on a year.
Yeah,
How
okay.
crazy is that? That's
Better or
good.
worse?
Dude. I'd say better.
nuts.
It is insane.
Hey, people at Brickfilms seem to like it.
So, and I'm gonna go over this really quickly because I'm not into tooting my own horn, but like I was really happy with how Theta Squad Republic stuff came out. But that's all I'm gonna say on that. I actually had help as well from that. Like Matt helped me with suggestions on what to use, and where to place it. So for the next film for Theta Squad 2, I am gonna have a couple people on sound.
Yeet.
Good idea.
Yeah. Thanks to Matt and that sound library he sent to me for my one film of Trooper.
That's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It's an amazing sound effect pack. Like it has literally everything you can imagine in the Star Wars universe, and it was perfect for what I needed.
Yeah, I just went through all of the old Star Wars video games and just ripped the ones that made sense.
Yeah,
That'll do
those are
it.
the best places.
Oh, just out of curiosity,
Jared,
is there anything involving copyright there? Or is it just
Nah,
like,
I
go
don't
for
think
it?
There's
so.
not enough.
All of the sound effects can be reproduced with enough effort, and so you can't really copyright the sound that something makes. I mean, somebody could try to copyright the sound of a 67 fastback Mustang. That's cool and everything, but you just can't do that because then everyone who drives a 67 fastback Mustang is going to be making that sound as they're driving down the road.
You're breaking the law.
Sure, but if I say take Bricktail Studios _ fastback Mustang.wav and I use that, I am technically in copyright violation.
Hey,
Always .wav, not MP3. Don't compress your audio. Sorry, this class really went to my head.
So what you're saying is, do exactly that.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe ish.
Okay.
Like you go like on free sound and they say what you call it, Creative Commons 3.0 or something. It's like I gotta credit them. I'm picking another sound.
Pretty much.
That's my thought process.
I don't understand people, and this is not like an insult, but I don't understand like the brick filmers that like list the sound effects they use in like the end credits, or the description. Yeah, I've never done that in my life, and I've never had like a strike or anything. So maybe I'm just really lazy, or it's just an odd thing to do just for safety. I don't know. I've never done it, but I've never really had a problem with copyright with sound effects, at least with me personally.
Yeah, I've been pretty safe for myself.
There's a reason it's pretty much just limited to music.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna go digging for that stuff otherwise.
Well, I've yet to have someone from Free Sound get it all up in my case like, you used carhorn.wav. I hate you. I've never had that happen. But
I'll just be
you never
like,
know.
I just rename it to Goldprick Productions _ carhorn.wav. Be like, no, I didn't. This is mine.
Well then, hey, I can add a watermark on it. You know, like those free play music clips where they say like Audio Jungle or Audio Blocks, and it's like, oh, I would have
It
stolen
could be
you.
like-
I would have stolen you.
Goldprick Productions. Goldprick Productions.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sue you for using my name without appropriate paperwork. We're getting so off topic here. Goodness gracious.
We'll just call this
It's
site
Sunday.
sound contract.
Classic Sunday stream.
Illegality. We were talking about NDAs earlier. Back on track.
Goodbye. Jared, if your Trooper film doesn't get any kind of like, I don't know, honorable mention from some community this year, I'm gonna lose my mind.
No,
Enter
I'll be
in
okay.
Brickstars. Enter
I
in
did.
Brickstars. Good.
I just did today.
Good.
Can I just say that Tom's CGI that he did for that was really good. Like he's catching up to me. Like
Tom
good
is
on
a
him.
wonderful person.
See,
Yep.
yes, he is. And I don't know if I'm saying this because I'm a little bit biased right now and I hate choosing between friends. Because right now, yes, Tom is getting a lot better. But just wait until
No, he's
April.
catching up for now.
Wait.
I just haven't done anything or really had the the ability or reason to do so for a while.
But you're about to, which is
Oh
you know,
yeah. I mean, just wait till Theta Squad Part 2 and some of the other stuff I'm working
you're
on.
done.
Be lit.
But no,
Which-
Tom, go ahead.
Saying, by the way, Austin, I better see Theta Squad in the running for Brickstars 2018. Just throwing it out there.
So for any of you guys who haven't yet, you can go nominate me for like Brick Filmer of the Year on Brick Filmers Guild, and then I think there's something going on at BAB. I'm not in the
Brickstars.
no at the moment. Yeah, in
Brickstars!
Brickstar. So if you guys
It's getting hyped.
want to do that, go ahead. Matt said he would do it, but has not yet. But
Not for real, like you could win Lego. Theta Squad is amazing. I think you got a good chance, like a really good chance.
I don't. I
nominate
know-
Trev, I guess.
Maybe. I would nominate Jared sooner than I would nominate Trev.
Aw.
Not that that's saying something because Jared's really good. So, I would definitely nominate him if we got a Brick City Cops Christmas special. I would definitely.
No,
Oh.
I'm too busy.
That's true.
Maybe FAQ. I'll probably bring her back for FAQ, honestly.
There we go.
I enjoy doing them for FAQ.
Which, by the way, Thack Stream 2019, it's happening.
Yeah,
we don't.
I was
We don't
looking for,
know.
like a woo or a clap or a who knows what.
We don't know if it'll be 24 hours, but we'll be on.
Hey, well, I'll
Didn't
keep
I
the
like
stream
go to
running
sleep
if I fall
in
asleep,
that
you know.
stream? And I was like, guys, I'm done. I'm gonna go to sleep. Bye. Oh.
Also, my
Good,
sister dared me to wear a unicorn onesie during the stream, so I'm gonna do that.
Ooh, nice. Let's do it. Yeah,
very
I'm
classic.
down for that.
Yeah, there we go. She has one. I'm like, where did you get that? She said, I got it from a friend. I should get you one for Christmas. I'm like, ha! Maybe I'll wear it during the stream or something. And she says, Chris, never give sarcastic ideas. I'll make you follow up on them. I'm like, ah, crap.
Dun dun dun.
So yeah, I'm
dun,
expecting pretty much that my sister's gonna get me a unicorn onesie for Christmas, and I shall wear it during Thack. What does this have to do with sound? I don't even know anymore. What is life?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm responsible for that derail
I think we're all
somehow.
responsible at this rate.
But hey, it wouldn't be a Austin-like podcast if there was not some kind of derail from the main topic to go on some tangent that I imagined out of thin air. So
There
just
we go.
trying to keep
Yeah,
it real
like-
with y'all.
Like sound and audio is a pretty, low level topic. It's not a lot of branches to go off on. So we may go off tangent quite a lot today.
We might. Which, speaking of going, well, not so much off tangent, but going back to some stuff you were talking about voice acting earlier. So,
Yeah.
there was a little bit of not really so much controversy, and I don't want to hype something up beyond what it actually is, but over on TTV, so Yeah, over on the TTV message boards, only found out about this because I got a couple of friends in the Bionicle community mentioning it. There's a guy who he put up a Star Wars brick film, and he thought it was pretty good. I thought it was alright. They thought it was terrible, and one of the things that they said about it was that the voice acting, it was all one person doing all the clones, but no way to differentiate who was who. And being that you guys are Star Wars fans, and that I've been playing around with some filtering effects in Audition, I'm wondering if we could devise a way for clone troopers in brick films to sound like distinct characters. Now, Matt, you easily have it because you color-coded all of them for 0 hour, and there wasn't a whole lot of dialogue. But is there a dialogue way we could do this?
So, canon speaking, clones essentially have the same voice. It's just different pitches. So, like Captain Rex and Commander Cody. Commander Cody is a little bit higher. Rex is a little lower, and then you have people like Tup, who was essentially like a child kind of character. Now, not that his voice was higher or lower, but like you could just tell in the way D. Bradley Baker delivered the lines. It really comes down to delivery.
Yeah, it's their personality pretty much. That defines their voice majority of the time.
Yeah. So like, and go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
No, continue.
I was just saying like the reason why it sounds the way that it does. Maybe you should link me just because I'll probably want to watch it later. But like it
I'll have to grab it after that.
If there's no, this is why I am a huge like advocate for like, okay guys, if you're gonna make a film that you want people to watch like more than one time, if you want to make a film that will have people, you know, coming back or people sharing your channel, for those of you who maybe have smaller channels, you gotta make sure your characters have personality. You gotta give people a reason to care about what you're making. And I'm not saying go out and like spend a ton of money on, you know, getting the best like effects software or camera, but like if you just take the minimal amount of time to add personality to characters, it goes a long way. If you're just like recording lines. Actually, I have an example of this. If you go back to my older videos from like 2009, 2010, I did not do any, you know, voice differentiation whatsoever, and I did a lot of Star Wars stuff. And there were actually comments back then saying it was hard to figure out what's what, and I was like, well, it's historically accurate. But then I went back and I'm like, well, okay, these characters have no really like personality, so that makes sense. So just think about that next time. That's why I am having like new people voice in my films constantly, and that's why I'm not doing any voices personally in my films anymore, just because you guys know me, you know what I sound like, you hear my videos at least once a week or whatnot, so having something else in there goes a long way.
I know that I think about it now. There's not a lot of like Star Wars brick films that have the same clone voice actor for every single clone. Like it's a majority of the time it's like friends who voice the different clones. Like for Austin's case, Theta Squad, there's like 4 different people or 5 different people, and then for Tom, for Dead Space and Tom, it's different people every time. And if I'm sure if Matt created something with dialogue, it'd be different voices as well. So now that I think about it, there's not a one voice actor who has a different range for each character and gives them a personality. So it's kind of rare to see that.
What's interesting is that like occasionally you'll find people like myself who can actually do considerably different sounding voices, so they can actually voice act 2 characters at the same time almost. And D. Bradley Baker does this a lot.
Chris does it too. Bob and Randy. Let's not forget.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, my roommates think I'm insane.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I believe I'm voicing 2 characters. I'm reprising Rennick, and I'll be voicing at least one other character. And at one point, those 2 characters are going to be having a conversation with each other, which is going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll see if you guys can tell it apart. I actually had a lot of people come to me and say, I had no idea you voiced Officer Rennick in Theta Squad. Like, that totally didn't sound like you. And that's what I aim for. Like, if it doesn't sound like me, then I'm doing my job right.
Matt, let me ask you this: when your two characters have that conversation, are you gonna do it in like one single clip, or are you gonna do it in
Oh
like?
God, please don't make me do that. I need.
I'll probably do it in separate takes.
Oh
and
man.
kind of piecemeal it together.
And you should try doing one, at least like behind the scenes or bonus content.
Yeah, I could definitely alternate between the two. It's just that you wouldn't be able to get my best takes for each of the characters together at once, most likely.
Chris, have you ever done that with Bob and Randy?
I do that for all Bob and Randy episodes.
What?
I literally
No
talk
way.
to myself in one take. Now, granted, if I don't like a line right there and then, I'll do a couple more takes. But I try to keep it as like one fluid conversation because, I don't know, without going on a big tangent, like, there are parts of Bob and Randy where it feels like it's one half of how I act and the other half of how I act, and having both of them working together at one time, I feel like it helps me just flow better.
That's so interesting. You guys are like the Seth MacFarlanes of like brick filming.
Oh,
shucks. For real though, I mean, if I were to try and record them separately, I feel like it would just throw me off and it wouldn't be nearly as fun. Because otherwise, it just sounds like I'm reading to a wall, and then the other character's reading back to that wall, and the wall is somehow transmitting that. No, I hate that.
I wonder if Keshin or Zach MG ever do that with their like most of their brick films. I know Zach does it with Ben and Andy, and then Keshin does it with like every single video he does, probably.
Yeah, Keshin does everything.
I'm curious to like be a fly on the wall when Keshin's recording his audio. I bet that's so funny just to like hear everything he says.
Is it just me, or is it kind of crazy? Like, it seems like us Americans, we really do have to try when we're trying to do like a British, Australian, or South African accent. Guys from overseas, they can just drop whatever their native accent is and just sound completely American.
Oh yeah, Keshin does it so well.
A lot of it is the way you compress your mouth. It's like when you're forming different syllables, your mouth's a lot tighter. When you're trying to do more formal English, you're trying to keep everything more
You'd
compact.
never guess that guy
American's
was from
so relaxed.
Australia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
At least I think it's Australia.
Pretty sure it is.
Keshin's Australia.
Yeah, he's Australian.
Speaking of Zach, I need to get him on the cast list. Thank you for
That would be
reminding
great.
Me. Yeah,
I really do love Gareth Spugastu as Commander Edge.
Oh yeah,
It's just so classic.
That's like my favorite thing about the entire series is like
Gareth's voice is just so.
It's deep. It's deep.
So it's so classy British.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, he's a man of class for sure.
I love it. It's just like I could hear him talk about a speech about blind people, and I could listen for like an hour.
Great! Bring it back around.
Yeah.
It wasn't an insult. It was just a speech that I would like to listen to.
Like, can we please have Gareth do the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Oh
yeah, I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi often tell.
Let me tuck in my bed real quick and just like listen to Gareth reading a bedtime story.
Someone at him on Twitter with this idea, please.
Let me tell you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
All right,
okay, dude.
Gather around, everyone. Let's tell the story. Okay, I need this in my life officially.
Oh gosh.
We need like brick filmer like audio tapes for like long car rides.
Yes,
please.
Well, I kind of do that with the Four Monkeys podcast whenever I'm driving to
I do too.
places.
I like re-listen to those like whenever I can. They're really good podcasts.
Fun fact. Really enjoy them. I've listened to the Forlorn Creature episode 36 times already. The only one that I listened to.
Oh my lord.
I love it so much. He's making new content. Can we quickly acknowledge that Tom is making new content?
I saw that. It looked really good. I watched I watched Creepers again the other day, like the full volume. So good.
Yeah.
So good every time.
Dude, if you want to talk about good sound, you'll go there immediately.
Look at that. Full circle transition.
Yeah, man.
In his behind the scenes, he does a really good job of explaining like how he does Foley for the Creepers films, and
Had like branches
really
and had a chair for the minecart just rolling on the wood floor.
it's just
Like,
perfect.
That's just next level for YouTube stop motion.
He's dedicated to his craft, and I really appreciate that. Because there's people out there that do it just for a hobby, like me, and get lazy sometimes. But then there's people like Thomas that are just that kill it. They put every single bit of effort into it, and you can tell in his vlogs where he stays up for hours animating or editing, and he marks down each shot with a marker on the wall, and it's super cool to see.
Yeah, that man is a machine. But I mean, just the littlest bit of extra effort can just really transform an effect that you're trying to get across. And apparently he tweets about koalas quite a bit. Brick Broadcaster says.
If any of you guys I have his tweets on notifications, so you should just know when he tweets. He's a very interesting follow. So if you guys ever are bored and want to just find something to do, just go and read his Twitter.
Come aboard the Thomas Evans train.
Yes, go aboard. Everyone's welcome. I actually have Matt on notifications too. Which is why I'm usually the first in his comment section to troll him.
Aha, the truth comes out.
Yo.
Dun 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 dun.
Can have that on notifications. Who else does really good sound for their
now that I think about it, what was his name? It's the guy that did Target Earth and that Star Wars.
Oh yeah. Target Earth. Yeah.
Mega Space Fighter.
Yeah, Mega Space Fighter.
Mega Space Fighter. Let's remember this for the next episode.
He has a lot of layers to his sound and his music, and it's super well done. Every film he does, it sounds really great.
Dang, I'm trying to think of some others to add to the list. I mean, I guess it's like CGI. You don't necessarily. In our community, CGI is really acknowledged. Oh.
Yeah, no.
Walk cycles doesn't work either. Like an example of something where you only notice it when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
They say in general film you only notice CGI if it goes wrong. Well, that doesn't apply to brick filming, so you only notice sound if it goes wrong in brick filming.
So I promise I'm not going to do anything or say anything really controversial. But since we're talking about sound, so the collaboration between Zach Missius and that other forgettable guy, the Cleaners, they took a long time, working on the sound, and the sound was good. I will give them that. The sound was good.
Yeah, Zach did really well.
Yeah, Zach did an amazing job.
I watched his streams, and he did a lot. He put a lot of time and effort into finding each sound and doing it correct. It was really good watch. He hasn't streamed in a while, but his streams were really educational, in my opinion.
Ugh.
Sound is important.
Speaking of
education, to really improve, just overall the quality of their sound. So I think more than anything, if there is a part of your soundtrack in general that's going to take people out of the state of immersion in what they're watching, it's going to be the voices. Like, what tends to happen a lot of times is that people will do audio recordings for their friends with really crappy microphones, and that'll come through in the final cut, and that's what really kind of takes you out of it. Is it sounds kind of like a radio effect, and it's almost worse when one character sounds really good but the other doesn't.
Yes.
And so one thing that I think everyone ought to learn how to do is, take Audacity. It's a free software. Anybody can download and use it. I believe Windows and Mac alike.
It's the best.
Learn how to clean up your audio, like by
noise reduction.
Noise reduction. Take out any of that background noise, any sounds of clicks, stuff like that. There's it seems like a really non-intuitive software to someone who's never worked with it before. They're just like, okay, so what the heck do I do? What is what does this mean? What does that mean? Pitch, tone, what do these terms mean? figure that out, and trust me, your sound will be a lot better. You know, and it also opens the door to doing, you know, cool stuff like intentionally like radio-y, you know, voices like I did for the clones in Zero Hour, even though they were just mumbling.
But a word of caution though with sound removal, it's always best to record in a quiet and stable environment no matter what. It's always harder to get out other sounds. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without going into way too much math, but we think about sound in terms of time. So a 5-second clip we run through, we're talking. But all sound is made up of different kinds of frequencies. So you have lower frequencies like this and higher frequencies like this. And now I understand why everyone laughs at my audio teacher when he does that. But point being, that humming in the background, for instance, from a fan or something, when you're recording audio.
Refrigerator is terrible.
Refrigerator, there's a good example. That's at a certain
terrible.
frequency. Let's say 100 hertz or something. I don't know. And when you go through your audio clip and you try to remove that refrigerator sound, you're cutting out everything that's 100 hertz. But you're also cutting out anything that's 100 hertz in your voice. So you end up cutting out just the littlest bits of details out of your voice. Now, in some clips where it's just like, say, a very, very quiet refrigerator, it's a very low rumble at, say, like, 10 hertz or something, that's not a problem. That's not going to come out of your audio too much. But if you're at a loud party, for instance, and you're trying to cut out every other frequency that's not yours, you're going to lose that data in your voice.
So, moral of the story, quiet refrigerators only. If you must.
And no brick film recording during a party.
Yeah. Who would do that? First of all, like, hey guys, what are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna go brick film. Yeah,
You'd
like
be surprised. You know, some people who live at home with family, they just do not have the kind of privacy they need to.
Full disclosure, growing up, I never liked family functions. Still don't like family functions to this day.
Same boat.
I'd show up for the meal and be like, oh hi, good to see you, and then retreat back to my room and animate. But I wasn't doing anything sound related. I was just animating, which you think wouldn't get messed up, but no. When you have 20 people in a house stomping all over the place, just shakes everything, and it's terrible.
Yep.
It's awful.
It is awful.
Don't do that.
Drastically increase the frequency range you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
And, some people will also say, oh, I record in the bathroom. Don't record in the bathroom.
Don't flush your toilet. Don't turn on the shower. Yep. Don't wash your hands.
Just don't. Stop. Audio engineers can't figure out how to get rid of echoes in sounds. There are research papers about this. Don't do it.
Do they bring all? I'm just imagining someone with a laptop, a boom mic, and a pop filter mounted on some kind of rail side next to the toilet, and they just put the seat down, and they have some sound foam in the little corner of the bathroom. That's what they.
We should all do a Frame100 podcast in the bathroom.
Yeah, that way everyone can just be miserable. Heck, I'd bring my microphone to the bathroom right now, but the cord doesn't reach. I'm totally not angry about this at all. Welcome to the Frame100 podcast. Just stop. I know some people say, "Oh, I like recording in the bathroom because I like the sound." No, don't do that. Don't do that. Even if you get a little bit of coloration, that's a terrible idea because again, you can't get rid of the echoes. Rather record in a quiet environment and then add a little bit of a couple filters or something in your post production. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean maybe if it fits the scene, I don't know. But it'd be easier and probably sound a whole lot better if you added the filter and the effect in post. But that's just my opinion.
Well, we no longer live in an age where you have to do all these crazy analog recording tricks. There's stories about how they used to bring speakers into bathrooms to try and get the reverberation in the recording. They've done that with several Elvis songs back in the day. I think there's a bathroom where it's this bathroom was the recording site for an Elvis song because of the reverb. I'm like, okay.
And where he died.
Weird flex, but okay.
The irony.
Yep, weird flex, but okay. But we don't need to do that. Digital audio is one of the greatest things ever. Use it. Look up articles. Read this kind of stuff.
Read your articles.
For real, though, you can just look up something like, what's a notch filter? And then you can go look it up and figure it out. Anyway, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to tell you, a notch filter is where you get rid of a select group of frequencies. So if you have this low rumble of your refrigerator in the background and you want to get rid of that, you can do a notch filter. What do you know?
Now you don't need to go read that. Chris already told you.
I'll say this as well. Speaking of, when the refrigerator or whatever you've got in the background, when it isn't terrible, sometimes, if you have kind of like just a folly track in the background, just ambient sound, wind blowing, or in the case of 0 Hour, there was always some kind of ambient battle happening off in the distance that you could hear. Sometimes you can actually mask that sound with another sound, and it turns out being okay.
That is true. But you want to be careful that you don't oversaturate it, though. If you have like a really low background sound, like in your case, Matt, like a really low heater or something, you can easily mask that in a battlefield. But it's very hard to do that, say, in a fancy restaurant. Or if you want to try and do that, say, at a police station. It'd be a lot harder to get out that rumbling because people are going to... What's that rumbling coming from?
Let me just stress how important ambient noise is. A lot of people forget that ambient noise exists in their films. It's like, all right, we got these two characters in a parking lot next to a road. Quiet. And it's quiet. It's just dialogue and like sound effects.
That's a great point. Let's go down that road.
Every once in a while, you'll hear like them put like a car sound in the background, or sometimes they'll do like a city thing in the back. I actually rarely see that, but I did that a lot with Grey Republic. I did a lot of ambient noise, which it kind of was a little bit muffled because of the music. But like, I don't know, Matt, if you remember, but like during Conan's like spotlight scene where he's about to go, murder the 501st, there was like a loud creak in the background, and kind of like an eerie kind of like sound type thing. Basically, it was because they were going specifically to an industrial sector via like that was like kind of like an old part of town where not a lot of people went. So I wanted to be okay. How can I make this not only look visually like like kind of like the red lighting and the kind of like barrenness of that scene, but how can I give it the feel of like, oh, okay, they're actually in like a lower industrial sector of a planet. But not a lot of people picked up on it. Some people did.
Yeah, that's what...
Okay, now I'm gonna go back and listen.
That's the thing, you don't even need to have that great of set design to really set the tone and create the setting for your characters. You know, if you've got really good sound design like that is very selective, you can get that feeling that you're after.
Right. Another thing that kind of come to mind is that, like Austin sort of mentioned this. He's like, it's like even if you don't have that specific sound for the thing that your character is in that location or is doing something, you can use different sounds and combine them together to make the sound you're looking for. And like it adds a whole lot of layers to it. And I think probably Chris can probably add on to this because he's the audio engineer, not me. But yeah,
it's like one semester. I know everything now. JK.
He knows everything. But yeah, if you just find, sounds that are similar to what you're looking for and you combine them together, you can make, I don't know, a broom in water or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So like that metal creak sound in Grey Republic. So part of that was from the great sound library that Matt sent over to me, and then to get the louder like metally effect, I went downstairs to my parents' basement, set up a little audio setup, and I got a metal pipe, and then I put it against another like kind of like metal sheet, and I just scraped it together to get that sound.
That'll do it. Cool, because anybody can grab a sound effect from the internet or even try to rip it from a game like I usually do. But, to make your own like that, there's something that is really authentic about that that's just irreplaceable.
That's how they did the old sound effects way back in the day. Like at Disney, whenever they wanted to do storm effects, they'd hit a metal sheet with a hammer, or they'd have beans across a tray. That was your thunder and rain. Because you couldn't bring recording equipment out there back in, 30s, 40s. You couldn't record rain with your massive studio equipment. And even then,
Me and Tom talked about this in our podcast a while back, and like we referenced Star Wars and how George Lucas and his sound team, to make those lasers, like none of those lasers were real, and all they did was just took metal slinkies and rubbed like a stick across it, and you got that zoom kind of sound to it. And the same thing with like the Wampa or like any other animal in the Star Wars universe. He took different sounds from different animals and combined them together to create sounds of the creatures he made up in his own mind. So making your own sounds is just a cool aspect of the whole sound design process.
And even if you want to do something that doesn't exist, the George Lucas example that Jared just shared. And B, with digital sound technology these days, you can do just some of the craziest things. Like, you guys have heard of, like, flangers, right? Like, the flanger effect?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, so, let's see. It's a song by the Eagles. I think it's Fast Lane, Living in the Fast Lane. I forget the exact title.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life in the Fast Lane.
Life
Good
in the
song.
Fast Lane. There we go. I keep forgetting the title. I didn't want to just quote the chorus. I hate it when people
Great
do
song.
that. But if you listen through that, there's a portion where it starts to get kind of really weird, like the time kind of warps backwards on itself. What that is what's known as a flanger sound effect, which is basically where you take your audio, you grab several samples ahead, and you combine it with the current samples. So instead of feeding back, you're feeding forward. Well, people realized that you could do this with analog sound equipment back in the day, and the sound designers were like, why are people doing this? This wasn't what was intended. But then they realized, people are going to do it, so let's just run with it in the digital side. Because it's a lot easier to do it digitally with an already recorded sound effect. I can't do a flanger with our live audio right now. Or at least I can't do a very good one. And then people started going, okay, well, now I got this digital flanger, what should we do with it? And if you watch The Flash, Reverse Flash's character, his voice uses a chorus effect, which grabs previous samples, and a flanger effect, which uses future samples. And if you want to try and get that voice effect, like way back in the day, back in, say, the early days of Disney or Warner Brothers, you couldn't do that without digital sampling. So this is like the perfect time. If you want to start doing crazy things with your audio in recording, in editing, the resources are there. You don't have to worry about just getting a stock sound, throwing that in, and calling it a day.
Stock sound.
That may or may not have been my final project. We had to take a speech signal and then kind of alter it. And so I just took a speech signal from a database. It was just a bunch of random clips that I just made it sound like it was a murderous speedster. I got an A for it, though, so that was cool. But yeah, I used a flanger.
I'm going to hit you up for that in the future. So don't lose it. Don't lose it.
I will not lose it. And the good thing is, there are tutorials for this thing everywhere. Film Learning, go look up Film Learning. He's got so many tutorials on how to do different character voices. And he just walks you through some basic Audition or Audacity. Just like, add a flanger here. Do some pitch shifting here. Copy this into multiple tracks. And it's super basic. You can just learn almost anything.
Last week, crazy. Chris, I can't say what it's for because it's not my film. But Chris was doing some voices for a certain individual who was working on a project, and he sent them via our Discord, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna listen to some lines that Chris made, and then I'm like, Jesus Christ, Chris is now officially hired on all projects, effective immediately.
Chris, your new position is audio engineer. Audio engineer, Chris.
Yeah, literally the audio wizard here.
Sweet. Because up until I took these classes, I had no clue what I was doing, but now I really, really want to do more of this kind of stuff. I can say that the clips were for Slotborg, because he wanted me to voice act in the film. If you're on TPF, you already knew that. So
I'm actually voicing in it. I told him I'd get him the lines today.
Yeah, I did mention that.
Do that after the show.
There we go. So I've been trying to, with these recent voice acting clips, because I've done a lot of voice acting, but with these more recent ones, I'm trying to get more into, okay, how can we make this sound really good? How can we play around with it? And if it's a character where I can do a lot of effects on the voice, it's a lot of fun. Just watching it come together. And a lot of it's just tutorials. Literally just Google this stuff. It's crazy.
I like audio editing. Like I like sound design and doing anything with audio. It's a weird thing to do, but I kind of enjoy it with every film that I do.
Like I said, it's one of my favorite parts, just adding the sound effects to that, especially like the real payoffs, when you're doing any kind of action sequence where people are shooting at each other, when you actually put the muzzle flashes and, the laser sound effects in there, that's the payoff right there.
It just adds another, 4 more layers to your film, and it just helps give it so much more depth. And I enjoy sound. It's weird, but I really enjoy listening to things that sound good in my ears.
It's just, this countless examples of where people do something, music, movies, whatever, where you hear it and you just go, oh, wow. And you dissect it in your brain for a second, and even just the effect that you use or the math behind it can convey so much about the character. Like Reverse Flash, using that example again, he's got a lowered pitched voice, so he's a bad guy, which is kind of standard across Hollywood. But then his voice uses the flanger and uses the chorus effect, which basically grabs samples ahead and grabs samples behind. Which you're literally creating a character whose voice is a low-pitched voice that is across absolutely all periods in time all at once. And if you know the Reverse Flash, he's evil, and he's in all time periods at once because he has the Speed Force abilities. So even just most simple things like that can just add so much dynamic to your characters. Just there's so much there to work with. Also, Trevor's mentioning Kevin McLeod. Should we walk down this road?
I think we have
road.
to.
Monkeys Spinning Monkeys, the remix.
Oh God, no!
I used that in a film once, though. I think I've already told you guys a story about my weird unboxing experience. I'll save that for later. But I used Monkeys Spinning Monkeys, the remix, and I felt like I just failed everybody.
Now I have to go look at Kevin McLeod's songs because I'm curious again.
Like, I think Kevin McLeod's anything on Incompetech, you never know the names of the songs unless it's Monkeys Spinning Monkeys, because at this point it's a meme. But you can always tell when someone's using them. And I'm trying to think of some, like The Complex. That one is easily overused. Cypher 2 is becoming more overused.
A lot of his songs are overused.
I mean, he's been around for, God, at least a decade now, right?
Longer than that, I think.
Yeah, so, think of all the YouTube videos that those have been in.
Can you imagine if he got paid for
he's
everything?
He's probably regretting the hell out of that. He's like, oh man, I should have charged everybody like a penny for this. I'd be a millionaire by now.
He'd be so rich. Like, they're all over.
Proposition, that's another one.
It's like, it's not even like just brickfilms. It's everything, man. Like, it's crazy how much he's used.
What else is something crazy, though, about the whole free music thing? Look up Josh Woodward. He basically does what Kevin McLeod does, but nobody uses his stuff. Like,
Why'd you say it, Chris? Why'd you say that?
Because the brickfilming community is going to use it, but nobody else is going to acknowledge it because, unfortunately, people don't watch enough brickfilms and sub to Pongo.
Have you used it?
I mean, hey, I trust you guys.
Tired of hearing the same like Kevin McLeod music over the years. So some fresh blood would be great. Wow, it was a little dark.
It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt.
Like, just look up free royalty-free music. I found it the hard way. If you just type royalty-free, they want you to pay for it, but you gotta do free royalty-free, even though it feels weird to put a search term twice.
That makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird. It doesn't feel right. I feel like the computer should just extrapolate and read my mind. I mean, I don't want that. Tangent. For real, though, just type in free royalty-free music. You'll find all kinds of stuff. The Brickstars 2018 video, the announcement that I just used a track from Josh Woodward. It's let's see if I can find the name here. But it's really darn good, and no one's used it yet.
That being said, even if they want to charge you a couple bucks to, use a different song that is royalty free, you don't actually have to pay royalties on it. It might be worth it, honestly, just because, again, some stuff out there, there's really not a whole lot. Everybody wants to get paid for what they're doing. So, something a little different can go a long way to making your film stand out.
So true, although, Noah's mentioning the Fat Rat. Is that royalty-free for use in videos, Noah? Because I've heard...
What is?
The Fat Rat. He does, like, a whole lot of electronic EDM. I know I'm going to butcher the terms for the people who enjoy the genre, but... Okay, it is royalty-free. Okay, so Noah's telling us the Fat Rat, royalty-free. It's a lot of electronic music. Sounds pretty good. The one thing I do caution with electronic music generally is that every 10-year-old who has an intro generator uses some really over-the-top electronic song. So just use electronic music with caution. Make it count.
I've never heard of these guys. That's crazy.
I have a friend who he listens to them a lot because he does like a lot of Let's Plays and stuff. I've already had my moral debates with him on that, but I won't go too much into a tangent today. Let's see. Here's his YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and just link this in the podcast. Here we go. So that's something we'll have to cover later. Video intros.
So the moral of the podcast today, don't use Kevin McLeod. Use Josh Woodward, and Fat Rat, and ambient noise, and don't record in the bathroom.
That sums it up. Dragon Brick Studios. I don't think he did the Destiny 2 soundtrack unless he went by another name for that. But I know that a lot of Destiny streamers do use his music. So yeah, and just gotta be cautious. Like even then, there are some Kevin MacLeod songs that nobody's really used that you kind of can get away with.
Yeah,
the number is rapidly decreasing.
You have to dig really far for unused Kevin MacLeod songs. It's crazy.
Like there are some that are pretty good. He has this one. Was it Pure Attitude? It's just kind of got this electronic beat to it that I really like. I use it for the GVP theme. No one uses it, so I just kind of claimed it as my lure.
Is he still making new stuff?
He is still making new stuff. Like every week or month or so, he's got something up.
There's just like those songs that you hear and you're just instantly like, oh my god, no. I know what this is. It's Kevin freaking MacLeod. No, I'm done. Like that instantly kind of like ruins a video for me. I hate to say that, but it really does. Because like we've said before, audio plays a huge part. And if I hear Kevin MacLeod in the first 10 seconds, I might not like your video.
Wow, Jared. Coming at you hard with that.
So like, don't watch any of my 2016 brickfilms.
You, Jared, like, no kidding. All
Jared,
right.
the hammer. Yeah.
Look, I just don't like it, man. Like the Four Monkeys. I love the Four Monkeys. I don't mind them using anything.
The Four Monkeys are mom and dad. They're iconic. They're allowed
exactly.
to. They're allowed
almost
to.
Nostalgic at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. It's very nostalgic with them, and it's like they're like one of the few brick filmers that are actually really good at what they do, and they're allowed to use Kevin MacLeod songs because their animation's really well done. So it helps. Yep. It helps heal up the burn a little bit with the Kevin MacLeod music, but it's okay.
Yep. But again, it's like a tool. Like if you walk around your house using a hammer on everything, it's not going to turn out well. And right. You can ironically use a hammer, like for my unboxing video that I did. That was subtly linked to the BAB unboxing video because the person involved she's still angry about it. But I just ironically used Monkey Spinning Monkeys, the remix, and it worked perfectly. It made you cringe, just what I wanted.
Monkey Spinning Monkeys 10-hour loop.
Do 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 do.
Well, I think we've pretty much beat sound into the ground. Did not mean that for that to rhyme. Jeez.
That was perfect.
I like that. That was good. Poetry slam. Poetry slam.
Thanks, man. So I think we're going to call it, guys. This has probably been one of the more enjoyable Sundays that I've ever had. But
I'll say, and the Bears won, so that's great.
Dude, please don't get crazy because at 4:25 the Steelers play the Patriots.
Oh man!
So I'm like this is like my pregame to like help me like try to like feel good, because we all know what happens when Pittsburgh loses in prime time. Not good, not great. But anyway, again, thank you, Jared, Chris, and Trev, all you guys for continuing to make the podcast possible, and thank you everyone for coming out. We're at 17 viewers. Let's go. Well done. Shout out to everyone, Dragon Brick Studios over there in the chat, to our moderators, which is pretty much just everyone I just mentioned. So I would give a special shout out to Trev, but he's not even here, so he deserves nothing.
He's animating.
Yeah, yep. Animating. But for all us here, Matt, the CGI Wiz, Chris, the audio wizard, and Jared, the hammer Johnson, it has been awesome, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We will see you guys very soon for another episode. Peace.
Bye.